Well, welcome everyone to the Chatham Business Association's monthly membership meeting. I'm Gwen Shaw. I am the board secretary as well as a facilitator for the meeting. We thank you for joining us this gloomy Tuesday. I promise you the sun is somewhere shining, maybe not here, but it's shining somewhere in the world. Thank you again for taking this time. We have an awesome speaker today. And I just can't wait because this is an area that touches me dearly, being that I'm in the financial industry. But before we do that, we're going to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself. Oh, can't forget before that. It's just been a real trying year, just like last year. And I think it's just always a good time just to pause and just, say thank you to whom, whatever you serve, and just to say thank you. Thank you for waking me up this morning. So we're going to take a quick moment of silence to do just that. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much. All right. So some of you have joined us for the first time, and some of you have joined us every single month. Whichever is the case, we welcome and thank all of you. I'll give you an opportunity now to just say quickly who you are, the company that you represent, and whether or not you're a Chatham Business Association member or not. And I'm navigating on my phone today, so bear with me. Kimmy, I know you're trying to hear, so I'm gonna let you go first.
You're on mute.
You're muted right now. Yes, just tell everyone who you are. We see your beautiful face, but we can't hear you. I still can't hear you.
You might have to come back to her. Maybe it's still connecting.
Okay, we'll come back to you. Okay.
I'm unmuted.
Okay, go ahead, Kimmy.
Hi, Kimberly.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. How are you guys doing? Kimberly Waj, owner of Joe Willie Seafood, 7433 South State Street, becoming a member very soon. Ready to pay that membership. Ready to get in with you ladies. I love you all. You're the best.
We love you too.
Thank you. Actually, I'm at the airport, so if I go out, I'm going to be getting on the plane where there is sun.
Oh, we're jealous.
I know.
Did you say the name of the locations and the name of your business?
Joe Willie Seafood. I have one located at 7433 South State, one at 14719 South Halsted, and one at 333 South Sacramento on the west side of Chicago.
Okay.
That's right, covering all grounds. That's why we love you so. Thank you so much and have a wonderful trip.
Thank you. You guys stay blessed.
Thank you.
And I couldn't miss this meeting, so I'm here.
Okay.
Thank you, Kim.
Okay, we have some people from Sankofa Safe Child. Miss Wilson, did you want to introduce yourself?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Annetta Wilson, the Executive Director of Sankofa Safe Child Initiative, which is a child welfare agency. And no, I'm not a member, but we're looking forward to becoming one.
Exactly.
We thank you for joining us, Miss Wilson. How about I see Gina?
Good morning, everyone. I am also I'm with Sankofa and just honored to be here this morning and also honored to be working under my mentor, Dr. Annetta Wilson. We have two locations, one on the south side, currently at 457 West 79th Street, another, our main headquarters and corporation, 4041 West Roosevelt. We look forward to even growing at 70th and Halsted and other locations. And I am the statewide coordinator for Sankofa Safe Child's Initiative Grandparents Raising Grandchildren Kinship Program. And as Dr. Wilson said, we look forward to growing with you soon.
Thank you, Gina, and welcome. Allison, I saw you jump on early this morning. Can you speak for a couple of seconds? Allison Caldwell,
Good morning, everyone.
good
I'm Al-
morning.
Good morning. I'm Allison Perkins Caldwell of Allison Infant and Toddler Centers on North, South, East, and High Park Campus, University of Child Care, Little Feet, Big Dreams, Baby Cakes, Edible Arrangement, Gurney, and Cal Park, and Southern City Cuisine. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Allison.
Yes, thank you, Allison. We missed you.
I know it's been a long time. I need to change my email address. I am a member. I do need to pay. I've been a member for a while.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Felicia Lawrence.
Hello, everybody. My name is Felicia, and I'm with Nipsey's Restaurant and Lounge on 92nd and Stony Island, and we are members.
Welcome and thank you for joining this morning.
Thanks for having us here.
Thank you, Felicia. Cynthia Love.
Cynthia staff, let her go
Oh yeah,
last.
that's right. I know. I always forget. I'm sorry, Cynthia. Mr. Millsap, go ahead.
Ron Millsap, long-term Chatham resident, so a member of Chatham Business Association, and currently representing Providence Bank and Trust, where I'm our Community Investment Act officer, as well as heading up some of our mission deposits and community relationships. CBA is doing great work in the community. I'm proud to be associated with it and looking forward to continued growth in our communities.
We thank you and value you too, Mr. Millsap. Thank you so much. Dakisha Calhoun, TCA Health.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dakisha Calhoun, and I am with TCA Health. TCA Health, we are a federally qualified health center with a location on 84th and Cottage Grove. At that location, we offer affordable primary health care, OB-GYN, dental, mental health, as well as COVID-19 testing and vaccines. So we're located right on Cottage Grove. You can't miss us. And the great thing about TCA is that we do not turn patients away regardless of ability to pay. And TCA, we are a member of the Chatham Business Association. Good morning, everyone.
Thank you so much. Such a warm greeting. Frida.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Hello, everyone. I haven't seen you guys in a while, so good to see you. I'm Frida Madison, and my husband and I own Madison Enterprises Incorporated. We're property managers, real estate investors, and we're general contractors. We have property in Roseland, Washington Heights, and in Chatham, and we're members. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
look so
Frida.
beautiful this morning, Frida.
I wish I could see everyone. Kim New.
Good morning, all. It's Kim New from the Cook County State's Attorney's Office. I am the community liaison for Kimberly M. Fox. I am assigned to the Community Justice Center South. We partner with community organizations, business, schools, faith-based leaders, and law enforcement in an effort to reduce crime.
Always good to see you, Kim. Ronnie, I don't see a last name, but Ronnie, did you want to introduce yourself?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Ron McNeil. I'm the owner of FR Lane Construction and Property Management. I was invited today by Allison Caldwell. Just looking to get some more information and get a little bit more involved in the community organizations. And happy to be.
Happy to have you, Ron. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see. Gloria.
Staff.
I knew it. Hey, Gloria.
And they can go ahead and introduce themselves, even though they're staff.
Yes, go ahead, Gloria. Introduce yourself.
Good morning. Thank you for having me introduce myself. This is a rare treat. I'm Gloria Jenkins and I'm working for Chatham Business Association. And right now we're in the process of doing some workforce development and ComEd assistance.
Awesome. Thank you, Gloria. Dante Winston.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dante Winston. I'm the president of Excel Construction Labor, Inc. We are a union shop located at 815 West 63rd Street, 4th floor.
Thank you.
Hey,
Maurice?
Dante, we missed you too.
I miss you guys as well. I've been to and fro, but I'm back. I'm here for the stay.
We're counting on that, Dante. Maurice Johnson. Hey, Maurice.
Hello, my name is Maurice Johnson. I'm president, owner of a company called Antares Computer Systems. I don't have a retail location at this time, but I sell all types of computer products.
Thank
And
you,
I am a
Maurice.
CPA member.
And thank you for your continued support, Maurice. We appreciate it.
Yes, strong supporter. Tatiana? Tatiana, did you want to introduce yourself? Okay, thank you. Tatiana put a greeting. There's something in the chat introduction, I believe. And then we have a caller ending at 906. I'm not sure who that is. Did you want to introduce yourself? Otherwise, I'm gonna keep it moving to our board members. Elaine?
Good morning, everyone. Elaine Granger, AT&T External Affairs. My territory actually starts at Madison downtown and goes all the way south into the hundreds. And then I also have a portion of the west side. So if there's anything that I can do to be of assistance with your business lines, if you have any problems or whatever, you can reach out to me. And I will put my contact information in the chat, okay?
Thank you, Elaine.
And Elaine, thank you for helping us support the workforce component with the technology piece as we move into a new type of space as people learn to work remotely and in person. So thank you.
You're very welcome.
Carl?
Good morning, everybody. Carl Riley, Fifth Third Bank. Here to support you guys with business lending and all the products you might need in regards to, making money, bringing your cash in, paying your people. One thing that we're doing that's phenomenal, I've done 3 of them so far, is 100% financing for 51% owner occupied commercial real estate. So that means if your business is going to sit in the property, at least 51% of the space, I can use SBA Express up to $500,000 to help you buy your building. So I did it for a daycare, did it for a mechanic shop. I'm confident that if you have 3 years of business tax returns and you're showing me something year to date that's profitable, I know everybody got hurt in 2020, but if they're showing something profitable year to date, that we can get this done for you. So I'll leave my information in the chat box. And of course, thank you for being a part of Chatham Business Association. Thank you for paying your dues and being active because we can all help each other. And thank you for inviting other people because I've noticed some of the people I've invited are now inviting people, and that's fantastic. So just keep on letting the word be known. CBA, Chatham Business Association, also Chicago could be the C. All right, so Chatham or Chicago. Talk to you later.
Thank you, fellow board member Carl Riley. We so appreciate you. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Gwen Shaw, and I am the agency owner of A Country Financial, the first and only Black female to own a Country Financial insurance and financial services. And I am so delighted to be here as well. Real quickly though, I am really doing something different this year or this quarter for the holidays. For anyone that refers a business owner to me, and they don't have to do anything, just refer them to me, I am giving away $5,000 credit card. So let me know if you have a business owner that needs my help and you could possibly win $5,000. I want to also introduce to some of you, but I'm sure you know who she is, but our wonderful and beautiful chairwoman or chairman, Melinda Kelly. Carlette, I didn't forget you. Melinda, did you want to say a few words?
No, just thank you for spending time with us. And I'll turn it over, let Carletta, Cynthia, and Beverly, and Charles, who I'm telling you, Richard, Cliff, Gloria, Lorinda, the staff, they do such a great job.
of making sure we keep these programs going and we respond to the businesses, and that we're involved in important policy-led conversations that affect the business community, all while doing business development. So I'll let them introduce themselves, and thank you. You know, our members working with the businesses, if you didn't give us your problems, your challenges, your successes, if you don't share that information with us, then it doesn't help us be a strong organization. So trusting us with that is very important to us. So thank you.
Okay. Well,
Hi,
great.
everybody. I am Carletta Kelly. I'm the Assistant Executive Director for Chatham Business Association. Call me with your membership questions, and welcome to the meeting. Jennifer?
Jennifer, are you still there?
I'm sorry, I was on mute. Yes, I'm here, everybody. Is it my turn?
Yes.
Hi. So good morning. I am Jennifer Adkins, the Interim Executive Director and Chief Business Development Officer, helping people where they are. So if you're a startup, if you're in the intermediary area, or if you are an established business, we can help you from understanding what's out there for grants, business development in terms of finding money, permitting processes, certifications, all that. So real estate issues. So give us a call. I'm available Tuesdays and Thursdays, 1 to 4. That's open. So just hit me up, or I will put my information in the chat. And yeah, just here to help. Thank you.
Awesome. Did I miss anyone that wanted to introduce themselves? Any staff member?
Cynthia?
Otherwise,
Yes, good morning. I'm Cynthia Love. I am the Chatham Business Association Auburn Gresham 79th Street Corridor Manager. And excuse me, I see on the call that Sankofa is on here, which is in the Auburn Gresham area. So I'm excited to be able to work with you. I'll reach out to you, and I'll also put my information in the chat. And so we're moving right along in Auburn Gresham, developing the businesses, trying to highlight the businesses. And so we ask everybody to consider Auburn Gresham as a place to start a business. And I can help you, with grant programs, services through CBA. We do a lot of things we do basically everything to support the businesses that we have. And so if you have any questions or anything, my information will be in the chat. And I'm always along 79th Street. So if you need something, or you need to set up a quick meeting with me, then you can always reach out to me. Thank you.
and just to all those businesses, especially the new people that are listening in or watching in today, I started my business almost 13 years ago. And the very first membership that I got was the Chatham Business Association, because being connected to your chamber is so critical to the success of your business and staying informed. So I encourage each and every one of you to, participate in this meeting, but also to make sure that you come to other meetings and become a member and invite other people, because it does lead to many different opportunities in terms of funding. You will hear some things today in terms of protecting your business from financial fraud. I mean, it's a plethora of information that you need for your business. So make sure that you tune in every month with us. And as soon, Melinda, I'm sure we're going to be getting back together under one roof one day soon, hopefully. Okay. I want to keep the meeting moving. Thank you, everyone, for your introductions. This was great. But do we have minutes, Carletta? Okay, if you are a member, we do have minutes provided. Please take a look at the minutes if you haven't already done so. Just get this paperwork out of the way so that I can bring out our speaker forward.
Charles,
please take a look. Yes, if you could bring the minutes up. If there are any corrections, this is from the last meeting last month.
No, this is July.
Okay, July. I wasn't at the meeting in August. So July is meeting. I need someone to accept the minutes as read. If there are any corrections, please express that as well. If not, someone second that motion. And then we'll. Did you read them, Carl?
Well, I know they're good. I know they're good, and I know we got to get the speaker. So
that's
I move
right.
to
Thank
accept
you.
These minutes as prepared.
And I second them.
It's been moved and properly second that the meetings that were prepared for us will be accepted. All in favor?
Aye.
There you go. So moved. Thank you so much, everyone, for your patience. And anyone that I may have missed, hopefully we can get you introduced at the end of the meeting. I did see some other people jump on. Thank you. But right now, I want to bring to you Ms. Deidre Dyer. Deidre M. Dyer is currently the Deputy Supervisor of Financial Crimes and Public Corruption Unit of the Special Prosecutions Bureau. In that role, she oversees the prosecutions of complex financial crimes like mortgage fraud, money laundering, and bribery. She also prosecutes corruption cases involving official misconduct of theft of government funds. I bet a lot of that's going on right now. She founded the Benefit Fraud and Synthetic Identity Committees for the Cook County Regional Organized Crime Task Force and regularly presents trainings to the public on how to avoid common financial fraud schemes. She is a former Illinois Assistant Attorney General and Supervising Regional Counsel for the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services Office of Legal Services. Deidre is a graduate of Illinois Wesleyan University and holds a certificate of study from the Université de Paris, is it Sorbonne? I can't pronounce that, I'm sorry.
La Sorbonne.
La Sorbonne. She obtained her Juris Doctor from DePaul University College of Law. And without further ado, this is going to be great. This is for the financial health of your business. Miss Deidre Dyer, the floor is yours.
Oh, wow. Look at that setup. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Gwendolyn and Carletta, thank you for inviting me. It's great to be with you all again. And you forgot my most important graduate milestone, since this is the Chatham Business Association. I am a graduate of McDade Classical Elementary School. So I am quite familiar with all things Southside. I've grown up around there my whole life, and I'm always happy to come back and help my community. So this is really important. I've gotten into financial crimes kind of on a fluke, but I found the work to be very interesting. And I'll tell you, violent crime is pretty bad, but have somebody steal all your money and see how you feel. You almost feel like you've been shot. And I've dealt with some victims who've lost everything, their life savings, and that can really be a big blow. So hopefully I can give you some tools today that will help you prevent you from being a victim of crimes and unwittingly being involved in a crime, because it's pretty easy to get sucked into schemes and you play a role in criminal activity without even knowing it. So thank you for having my presentation from last time set up here. I do have some additional information because obviously since COVID, there's been a lot of changes and schemes. Financial crimes are really a crime of opportunity. So whenever the landscape changes, the crimes change to sort of fit the opportunities that are available. And so in light of COVID, one of the first things I want to talk to you about is the myriad of COVID fraud that can affect your business, starting with the PPP loans, right? I know a lot of legitimate businesses have been having trouble getting those loans, but surprisingly, criminals have been out there creating fake businesses and getting the loans that should have been entitled to you. So I just say that to say, a lot of people think that money is free and it's gone forever, but what's going to happen is on the back end, they're going to investigate that and they're going to come to prosecutors like me all over the country and say, we found these people and we want you to go after them. And so it's important, to the extent that you're applying for PPP loans, you should make sure that your paperwork is correct and not containing any false statements or inaccuracies just to get the money, right? Because eventually they're going to come back to get their money. And you should know that stealing from the government is an enhanced penalty. So stealing $10,000 from me as an ordinary citizen is a Class 2 felony, but stealing $10,000 from any government agency automatically raises it to the level of a Class 1 felony. And you can very quickly find yourself in territory where jail time is the recommended sentence, the mandatory minimum sentence. So you don't want to play around and think that just because it's money and nobody is getting shot or hurt, that it's not a big deal. But more importantly, there's a lot of things that victimize good business owners. And one of the big trends is check fraud and intercepted checks. I don't know if any of you have been victim to this, unfortunately, but you need to be careful with your mail and really have your accounting procedures in place, because what's happening is once your account information has been compromised, people can very easily make a fake check that you haven't issued that has all of your bank account information on it. And then they will cash that check. And if you're not paying attention to your bottom line, you just have so much money coming in and out. That's what they count on. They count on you're not going to even notice a $10,000 check or a $5,000 check. And so you need to stay on top of your finances to make sure that your bank account information isn't compromised. If for some reason you hear my co-counsel over here, hold on a second as somebody's running by. All right, so if you find that your mail has been stolen or your checks have been compromised, you really want to reach out to the postal inspectors. They have very great investigators and they take mail fraud very seriously. But that's something I'd say that's been increasingly on the rise that you should be on the lookout for. Let's go to the next screen because I think we're going to touch on that. All right, so identity theft is when somebody has your personal information, and it's usually more than just your name, okay? But if they use that information to get credits or services, it's considered identity theft, and it is a crime. If you are a senior and your information is stolen, it is, again, an enhanced penalty. Can we head on to the next one, please? Let's see what's... So as I said, there's a bunch of different things that could be considered personal information, but just know if it's your name, unless you're a very famous person, we're probably not going to say that using your name alone is identity theft, but your social security number, PIN numbers, personal identification numbers that are related to you, if that's used without your permission, it could all be considered identity theft. If there's one thing that you take away from me today, if you can hear my voice right now and you have your social security card in your wallet or in your shame on you. You have no reason to walk around with your social security card. It should be put away in a safe and secure location until you need to use it. Because once somebody has that information, it's very hard to sort of put the genie back in the bottle. So you want to make sure that you're protecting your personal information. And I'd say it's social security card, that's an easy soft spot. Like if your wallet's stolen, your social security card shouldn't be in there, because for the most part, we don't have to pull that card out on a day-to-day basis to function. So you really want to be careful with that. Could you go to the next slide for me, please? I'm not sure if it's Carletta or who's I should be asking to do that. All right, keep going forward. Let's see if any of these things apply to you. I'm guessing one or more, if not all of those things apply to you. If you can relate to any of those things, you are at risk for identity theft. These are all of the places and points where your information can easily be stolen nowadays. The internet and the convenience of our phones is a double-edged sword. It's really easy to do these things, but that information is just out there. And just because you can't see it, it doesn't mean that other people can't access it. So it's really important that when you're using your personal financial information to conduct a transaction, that you trust the people that you're dealing with. Like real estate transactions, do you know your real estate broker? Do you know your banker? Because if you don't, and you haven't done your due diligence, these people have access to your information and they can use it for nefarious purposes. I have had a lot of my thefts are unfortunately employees of your businesses, right? Your employees that you trusted who perpetrated some type of fraud. A big one right now is the car dealers stealing people's information to make fraudulent car sales. And we see, and surprise, a lot of those car sales are for Dodge Chargers and Jeeps that are then sold on the black market for criminal activity. So that's an example of how something financial can turn into some real life consequences in the violent crime world. So it's all interconnected, right? Because it's all about money. So don't think that just because you're dealing with money, the violent part of things won't touch on you. Can we go to the next slide, please? All right, so these are the common schemes that I talked about. The check cashing we've already gone into. I really can't underscore enough how important it is for you to do your due diligence on the front end when you're hiring employees. The number of people who have called me and said, my employee is stealing from me, I got concerned, and then I Googled their name and I saw a press release with your name on it where you had prosecuted them for stealing. And it's like, gee, if you had only Googled their name before you hired them and given them control of your bank accounts, you could have saved yourself a lot of trouble. And although family is wonderful, you should know that many of my embezzlement cases do involve a family member. So please don't assume that because it's your cousin or a family member that they are not going to steal from you. The best way is to avoid temptations, right? So you want to have proper checks and balances in place. You don't want to have one person who controls all of your incoming money and outgoing money without any oversight, because that is just a playground for somebody to start issuing extra checks to themselves, putting in fake invoices. So you at least want to have two people in that process so that one person can kind of check on the other. And you don't just want to say, oh, well, if I'm making money, as long as I'm making money, I don't need to be worried about the books. You really do want to pay attention to who is in charge of your money. Even with your IRS, your tax schemes, make sure that your tax preparer is appropriate and licensed and able to do that. Several of my cases involve tax preparers who will tell you that you didn't get any taxes this year. And then they file something and you've actually gotten quite a bit of tax return and they've taken it. And phishing emails, very big for businesses. You need to pay attention to those emails coming to your business. And if it doesn't look quite right, don't click on those links. A lot of these emails, if you read them carefully, they're grammar errors, there's slight spelling errors, they're just a little bit off. If you know you haven't ordered anything on Amazon and you get an email that says your Amazon package needs confirmation, click here, then don't follow it. You know what you've ordered and what you haven't. In doubt, you can always call back on a number that you know and trust rather than dealing with somebody who's reached out to you cold calling. It's so easy to disguise phone numbers nowadays to look like it's from your area code, it's from your region, and it's actually a call from overseas. So beware of that. And again, trust your gut. If it doesn't feel right, never, ever provide your personal information over the phone. Most government agencies are not going to be asking for your information over the phone. If you're in trouble with a government agency, they will knock on your door. They will come to see you face to face. So be very wary of giving out information over the phone. I'm curious, has anybody gotten the call yet saying that your Social Security is going to be cut off? Or have you gotten the call from someone that is asking, pretending to be your grandson? I've got to call people and say, Grandma, hey, Grandma, I need some, can you send me some money? And I know what they're calling our extensions at the state's attorney's office with these frauds. So if they're doing that to us, I can only imagine what they're doing to civilian phone lines. So it's almost a joke when they call, and we just put them on speaker and see how much information we can get to see if we can make them hang up instead of us hanging up. But just know that you're dealing with the fraud at all times in those cases. Does anyone have any questions so far? Is this making sense? I hope I'm not scaring you too much, but you just want to be smart about what you're doing, because just know once, it may be criminal, you may be a victim of a crime, but usually once that money's gone, it's very hard for me to get it back for you. I can charge somebody, I can make them a convicted felon, but at the end of the day, that's a hollow victory for you if you're out 6 figures, 7 figures. I'm sure you'd rather have the money back, right? So let's focus on how we can keep it in your pocket. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah.
I said, this is an excellent presentation you're doing, because as a banker, I'm seeing some of the same stuff you're talking about on a daily basis.
Oh my
With check
gosh.
fraud. And
Mhm.
so, if everybody listens up, maybe you can protect yourself from this stuff, because they even call me on the work line and on the personal line with the same foolishness she's talking about. So scam likely just the only answer.
For sure. It's worth the extra little bit of money, I think, to have those caller ID guards on your phone, I think, at this point, just for the peace of mind. ID theft can strike anywhere. I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, if your identity has been stolen and a large amount of money has been taken from you, you know who took your identity, or we can trace where the soft spot came from. Okay, caregivers in your home, be careful. Employees, just don't tempt fate. If you have people over, maybe you don't have your checkbook just laying out. If you have workers coming over to do stuff, don't. This third one here, sharing too much information online. What does that mean? Because we're all in Facebook and Twitter, and with businesses, you want to be active and leaving a lot of information out there. So for your business, but be smart about it. Some examples. I had a friend once on Facebook who was like, look, I got the new ID, and she put her license on Facebook. Now you think, oh, it's just my friend. You can't control your security. Even if you have a high security setting, just assume that other people can see your information. So we don't want to be posting things like our driver's licenses. Even a scary, license plates, you want to blur those out on your pictures. I hate to say, even something as scary as the peace sign, I always do it so that my fingernails are facing out, because if they can see your fingerprints on a picture, on a high resolution picture, some people can take that and use it for identification purposes and high tech frauds. Some people can steal your voice, and be careful answering those phones. Like, they only want you to say yes, so they can record that. And then they have your voice saying yes, yes, to get through certain prompts. So be careful with things like that. Also, just as common, posting about your vacations online. I tend to post information once I have returned. I don't declare, hey, everybody, I'm going out of town for 3 weeks, so you can steal from me, or nobody's at my, there's sort of that subtext. So, or I don't tell people where I'm going necessarily if I'm gone, so usually I let people know on my way back, hey, guess where I've been? And these are the pictures, because now people haven't had the opportunity. There are some people that just look for this information. And they profit from it, or they try to go to your house when they know you're not there, or go to your business when they know you're not there, because you've basically signaled, I'm not watching, things. So be careful with that. And I know you don't want to pay for it sometimes, but as a business owner, you got to stay on top of that cybersecurity, especially those of you that are doing online business. Is very easy and convenient. But you should know that the law requires that you have to notify people if you have been breached and their information has been taken. And you have to do that in a timely fashion, or you can face some liability on the personal end. So unless you're a computer expert, you really need to invest in making sure that you have the appropriate cybersecurity in place to make sure that that your data isn't breached, especially if you're handling other people's personal information.
And I just want to remind the members, you may recall a couple of months ago, we brought to you a company, AGB Investigative Services, who opened a cybersecurity center and offers services to small businesses for this very reason. Just in case your employee accidentally compromises your network or your information, it's affordable, so we can share that information again, so you can start somewhere. Because if you're like me, you just don't know where to start or do it by yourself.
I got one more thing to add. If you have a bank, you have a banker, and the banker's gonna be able to support you with treasury management solutions, as well as if you're taking credit cards, you have PCI and compliance, which is on your credit card service machine. So just make sure that you know how much your limit is. Generally, it's like up to $1 million of coverage. So it will help you to fight the fraud if there's everything like that comes up on your payments. And of course, we have all the fraud solutions That's all I talk about half the day. So, you know, if you want to talk to Ron, if you want to talk to me, if you want to talk to PNC, we all have treasury management solutions that can help you to, one, lock your account down, and two, to control everything that's going on with it. So, and watch your employees with their iPhones, because they could be taking pictures of your computer screen for people's information. So we've caught, with our cameras on our banks and everything, we've seen people before who have pulled their camera out while they're doing a transaction, and we can, you know, catch them taking pictures of people's stuff. So if you have, like, if you work in healthcare or if you work in anything like that, banking, financial services, if your employee comes to work, ask them to leave their phones in a certain box and they get it back at the end of the day. Don't have them at the computer screen with a phone in their hand.
I'd say individual login IDs are important too, so we can know who's using the computer at what time. A lot of times money's missing, and then I find out you have all been sharing the same password. And so, you know, just as a matter of convenience, and it makes it a lot harder to prove who took what when. So these are all important things to keep in mind with your employees. That's a really good tip about the phone. Some people are sent in with a separate device, even with the phone. And so I always tell people to watch when your credit card gets swiped. Sometimes people will have a handheld device and they're swiping on the register and swiping that card on the device as well, because it's storing the information. And then they're making fake credit cards with that after the fact. So especially in this time when good work is hard to find, you need to be mindful of that. You know, you're getting what you pay for. If you can only afford to pay somebody, you know, minimum wage, or, you know, $8 an hour, less than $10 an hour, just know that, you know, somebody in the hood may be offering them as much as $1,000 just to swipe every credit card, you know, a day in there, or to bring them, you know, identifiers of people, of customers, so that they can use those. So you really do have to watch out what's going on with your employees, not just from a perspective of thieves and, you know, who are coming in, but really monitoring your employees that are there. Could we go to?
Sorry,
Yeah.
Kim New raised her hand too. Yes.
Deidre, I just want to say that you know that most of us do not have another password in us. So what do you recommend for people to do for passwords once they feel like they're out of passwords?
Well, there's been a lot of studies that show the best strength of password, if you're really struggling, is 3 unassociated words, right? In random order. Some kind of way that strengthens passwords. But honestly, as I'm having increased senior moments, you know, at some point you're gonna have to write these passwords down. That's just the world we're living in, right? Or keep them safe somewhere. There are different programs or places where you know, if you have an iPhone, you can save your passwords and they're somewhat protected on there. They will come up with complicated passwords for you. But yeah, the days of password 1, 2, 3, or, you know, 4 zeros to get by is not good. And even with a website, you know, simple website, any website where your credit card information is being input, you should have a seriously strong password to get through it. And it is challenging for me. IT will tell you I forget my password every other week. I often have to reset it, but I'd rather do that than to have a weak one and find out that somebody has come in under my ID with some of the databases I have access to do something crazy. So, you know, it's going to be the cost of doing business. If you don't have that good memory, you better, I suggest having them in a notebook that's in a locked box with your other secure documents, you know, like your birth certificate and your social security cards, things like that. You want to keep your passwords with those too, but definitely don't skimp on them. It's not worth it. There's a lot of software that can easily break the code on weak passwords. So go to the next slide.
Excuse me, Deidre, how do you feel about sentences? My children taught me to write a sentence. So a sentence like, Martha's Vineyard is my favorite place in October.
Yeah, I mean, you know, whatever is going to help you. The thing is, it should be a combination of letters and numbers, right? So sometimes I might replace a letter with a number instead, you know, as I'm typing, or with, what do you call them? An exclamation point or some special symbol. I would just strongly advise against all letters. And I think many sites are set up that they won't even accept one that's all letters. But yeah, the longer the better. Whatever's easier for you to remember, but it should be something that's not obviously, you know, related to you, that somebody couldn't easily guess, like your pet names or things like that. All right, we could go to the next slide. We've kind of talked about those phishing emails and what you should look out for. Again, they're very close and similar to the real thing. So be careful. Read those. I often tell people to be wary of going through those emails after you've had a few drinks late at night too. Sometimes people are clicking on things and doing everything. It's funny. They talk about, you know, ordering things drunk on Amazon, but a lot of people have clicked on things too and found themselves in trouble. There's more trouble to be had than just purchasing something that maybe you didn't need. Go to the next slide, please. See what we have next. All right, we talked about this. Law enforcement isn't really going to call you. Even during COVID, they might call you, but they're not going to ask for your personal information. If it's that serious, they're going to come to you. So just know that. You can't post bail by phone. You can't post bail with a gift card. Anybody who's asking you to pay them with gift cards, it's a trap. Don't do it. So be wary. Let's go to the next one, please. Mortgage fraud is still happening. I'm sure Carl and some of our other bankers know about that. People have gotten even more blatant with it, right? And they're just, the documents are super fake to get through. So you got to be careful. One thing that business owners often get caught up in mortgage fraud is you've got your business, you're doing great, and a friend says, hey, can you just say I work at your business so that I can get a loan? That's all well and good, but if they don't work there and you sent in a verification of employment, just know that that is basically a forgery. That's a fake document that you're submitting. And so you're playing a role in loan fraud. And I would strongly advise against you issuing a verification of employment for someone that you really have no intention of hiring, that really does not work for you. Because chances are, if they're not working for you, how are they going to afford this house? And if they can afford that house, then why don't they go and get that letter from wherever they're getting their money from, right? Credit repair, be careful of the credit repair people. Some of them will tell you that they can fix your credit. They're just going to get you some credit cards that you couldn't get somehow. And as long as you keep the balances okay, it's not fraud. Well, what they're doing is they're achieving this credit repair through synthetic identities, and they're kind of attaching your name to someone else's social security number, which doesn't really help your credit, by the way. And often it just ends up people racking up credit in someone else's name that they don't pay back. And you've paid them for credit repair that you never got. So be wary of these credit repair specialists. A lot of the things that a legitimate credit repair person can do, you could do on your own. But certainly any credit repair specialist that is telling you you could repair your credit by obtaining credit using someone else's social security number is lying to you. So it's not true. We could go to the next one, please. Money mules and check cashers. This is an increasing thing now, especially we're seeing it with sweetheart scams too. I just prosecuted someone on this, a Chicago police officer, in fact. And what happens is they send a check to you and they say, listen, you won this money. I'm going to send you a check. You just send some of the money back to me, and for your work, for whatever prize I've made up, you get to keep 500 of this $3,000 to $5,000 check. That's usually how it works. Now, usually the check they send you, it may say, let's say, Sunshine Enterprises on it, but the bank account information on that check may go to Gwendolyn's business, or it may go to Melinda's business. It's a fake check. Then you have deposited this check in your bank and you think, oh, I'm going to keep $500 and I'll just forward the rest. Well, it's a fake check. And by the time the bank figures out, guess who's left holding the bag for that $5,000 check? It's you. So, and then this person that you sent most of the $5,000 check to, you've wired it to a bank account. If you're lucky, they're in Illinois. If you're not lucky, they're overseas. So just be careful with that. There's no such thing as free money, okay? Anybody reaching out to you to give you $1,000 is probably for doing nothing. I mean, just think about that, you know, it's too good to be true. Money isn't free. So usually nobody's going to give you money without doing some sort of work for it. And you should know, as a money laundering prosecutor, once you deposit criminal funds into your bank account, guess what? I can seize that whole bank account, okay? And you might get that money back eventually, but there's going to be some court dates, there's going to be some court hearings, and you may or may not get it back. So you really want to be careful about putting suspect money in and commingling it with your good money. Because that's it. Like I say, you think you hurt when somebody beats you up, wake up in the morning and all your bank accounts have been frozen. And that's like you can't pay for a lawyer, you can't do a lot of things. So it can be very traumatizing to have that happen. So try not to be a part of it. We can go to the next slide.
What you're saying is so true, because people write checks all the time. If I ask any of you people for your name, your address, your phone number, your bank account number, your routing number, your signature on the street, you would not give it to me. But if you gave me a check, you gave me all that information. So when you're giving out these checks to people, please be very cautious about who you're giving a check to, because now they got all your good information and they can go and create their own little check and go deposit it in their cousin's account, like you just said, under their name. And now my client's gonna say, hey, weird check came through for ABC company. It's not me, but it's on my account. And we shut it all down. We shut it down. So just kind of think about when you make your payments. I love making payments with credit card, because that way, if it's, you know, it's to be disputed, it's not coming out of my pocket. It's on the bank's pocket. ACH is fantastic because you can ask somebody for their account number and put the money in their account as opposed to giving them a check. So now your account is not out there. Just think about how you're paying people. All right.
Yeah. Checks are kind of, I really advise against them. And certainly I wouldn't write a check to somebody that I didn't know, you know, like if I can't come find you, we have a problem afterwards, I'm probably not going to write a check. So like some of those service people that come to your house that you've maybe never seen before, maybe somebody wants to clean your gutters or something, maybe that's not the guy to write a check to, right? Because unless you know where they are, you know, somebody that doesn't have a brick and mortar business. Yeah, Carl.
And the last thing I'm gonna tell everybody, if you have a home equity line of credit, or if you have a personal line of credit, or if you have any line of credit, please transfer the money into your bank account and then write the check, or if you have to do a check or whatever payment out of your bank account. Do not ever give anybody your line of credit check, because they can then create their own little checks and have a ball cleaning out your line of credit. So please put the money into your checking account and then pay them whatever form you want to pay them with the credit card, with the ACH, if you got to do a personal check, get their ID or get something that you know where you can find these people, because that's going to be part of the police report.
For sure. We kind of touched on synthetic identities. This is a little scary to me, just because I know a lot of you who think you're financially savvy. Maybe you have a freeze on your credit report or freeze on your credit. That maybe will keep people from stealing your entire identity, but synthetic identities are literally where they've made up a person. They might take my name and Kim's social security number and Carl's date of birth and make a whole new person on paper. And so what that does is it kind of defeats the credit freezes, because all of the information doesn't line up one for one. Okay, and it seems like they should have figured out a way to get around this by now, but for whatever reason they haven't. So this has allowed a whole slew of theft to slip through, and you may or may not notice it. So the best way is you really have to stay on top of your credit monitoring and take some responsibility for that, and check and see when new things pop up on your credit score that you didn't apply for. You need to kind of jump on that right away. Don't assume that because you have the credit freeze that's going to protect you from a synthetic identity. Also related to properties, any of you who own properties, are you all familiar with the PIN alert from the Cook County Recorder of Deeds? or now the Cook County Clerk's office, right? So you need to go to the website. If you know the PIN number for your property and you're the owner of that property, you can put your information in and register for it. And if anybody files anything on your property, you will be alerted automatically. So if it's a fake mechanics lien, or I don't know if you know about sovereign citizens, there are people who are just going through the neighborhood, and if they think you're not watching your house, they will file a fake deed on your house and move into your house. And then it's a whole mess to try to get them out. So this PIN alert lets you know when somebody's trying to do something shady on your property and kind of gives you a leg up. So it's kind of the best prevention is to jump on these things right away. And you don't want to find out that you've had all these fake mechanics liens on your property only years later when you go to sell it or try to do something with your property. And then you find out somebody put this on your property a long time ago. We can go to the next slide. Yes.
What entity was that?
It's the Cook County Recorder of Deeds, which is now all part of the Cook County Clerk's office. So it's under Karen Yarbrough. I can email you the website. There might be a couple of updated websites after that you could share with your members. And you can just go on that website and you enter your PIN number and your contact information. And it's a really useful tool to help prevent mechanics liens and other fraudulent filings on your properties. So let's see, other schemes. I know businesses are often hit with counterfeit currency, so you have to be careful with that. I know sometimes you all want the business and it's great, but like if a 12-year-old comes in with $100 bill to buy, you know, a $2 item, I don't know, just maybe use some discretion there. Obviously, there are ways that you can detect if currency is fake or not. If you don't want to invest in the pen or is it like a UV light or something you could shine on it? You need to learn how to look for those markers and the strips and things that are in proper currency. Bitcoins and cryptocurrency, I don't love them. I don't like them. As a money laundering expert, I feel like they're tools for money launderers. If you have a Bitcoin or cryptocurrency kiosk in your business, that's fine and good. Just know that a lot of those transactions taking place on those machines are probably not up to par. And eventually I think the government's going to get tired of it and maybe want to do something about it. So, you know, but right now they're legal. So you do you, but just, you know that kind of contributes to a culture of things, right? So if this device is attracting criminal enterprises to your business, you know, what are they going to do after they've done their Bitcoin transaction? Smash and grabs, it's a common thing for retail outlets. Make sure that you have good cameras in place. Deterrents are always important. Just think smart. Maybe you don't have all of your most expensive merchandise right there by the door at the front window. Some security elements, you know, depending on where your store is located, there's, you know, you may or may not be able to do some of those mitigation strategies, but I think these business associations are very important because when somebody hits one business, just know all these nearby businesses, it may not have been your day today, but your day is coming. So you all want to work together and share intelligence as far as who you're noticing, what trends you're seeing, because don't assume that your neighbor got hit with a smash and grab and then they're not going to bother you because they literally come back next week. So you want to kind of be mindful of your surroundings. Don't just have that video camera up and it's not recording. Like if you got the camera up, have some video in there. It will be helpful and useful. Okay, just don't think just putting a smile you're on camera sign up is enough if you really don't have the camera. People can and know that sometimes your employees are telling people who's got cameras and who doesn't in their businesses and who's good to get and who's not. So make sure you have your security protocols lined up in terms of when it's time for you to move your cash from your register. That shouldn't be something everybody in your business knows, like what the plan is for how that happens. You just don't want to make yourself a target in that way. A lot of businesses are hit because their routine is too obvious in the evening when they're moving their cash out or whatever. So make sure you're on top of that. Insurance fraud is also a big one, so be careful. Don't just get a fake insurance card just to open the business. It's not even worth it. Get the insurance. Something's gonna happen and you really need insurance, right? And insurance fraud is also a felony, and you better believe the insurance industry does follow up on that. So so take care. We can go to the next slide, please. All right, so these are all the ways you can end up a criminal. Probably the biggest one is to pay your taxes, people, okay? Let me tell you, the Illinois Department of Revenue, they have people and they are looking at this now, right? So governments are strapped for cash and they are not gonna have somebody doing $5 million worth of business that hasn't paid any local and state taxes on something. Just know they're looking at that. And just know by the time you get over $100,000 in taxes that hasn't been paid, you are looking at mandatory jail time. And that's just at the state level. I don't even want to know what the feds would do to you. So it's not worth it, especially with cigarettes. If you sell cigarettes and think you're sneaking away to another state to sell cheap cigarettes, just know somebody is watching you. The state has 2 people and all those guys do is drive around begging people for cigarette cases. So they got the time. You don't want to be the one caught selling $5 cigarettes in Chicago. Eventually that's gonna get on somebody's radar. And again, that's the kind of thing that gets your bank accounts frozen. When you got millions of dollars in taxes that you haven't paid flowing through your bank account. So selling liquor and lottery tickets to minors and things of that nature, just know somebody may be watching, and what a lot of these agencies do is they wait until you do it to a felony amount, you know, and then they want to come talk to you. So you get comfortable when you've done it once or twice, and then you just get in the habit of doing it every month. And they're just waiting. And as soon as that loss amount gets high enough, they're gonna be seeking charges and hoping and asking that you be arrested. Same thing with that link card. It seems like easy free money, but there's a whole network of agents and they're watching these stores that do link fraud. And if you have a store like that that's sort of victimizing your community, I would say, you know, if they're just taking the link card money every month and they're not offering any food or anything to these families, it's not really helping the community, okay? And so just know that that's being looked at and somebody's gonna get onto that. A big trend is this fake lines of credit. A lot of you all have your business again, and it's great, but your friends want to use your business for their criminal enterprises. So if you have not actually given somebody a line of credit, don't say you gave them one on paper as part of that credit repair scam, okay? Because that's gonna come back on you and eventually you may not be certified as somebody who can give lines of credit. It may affect your business standing. It could affect your licensing. And it's just not worth it in the long run. There's just more money to be made doing legitimate business. We could go to the next slide. I think we're almost near the end here. I've talked about the proper checks and balances. There is no shortcut for making sure your computer software is up to date. Please, please background check your employees, even if they're family members. Since I have become a lawyer, I have learned that there are so many criminals in my family. They call. I didn't know that people led such sordid lives. But we all do, right? And so just know that you can't rely just on blood relationships to say that this person is 100% trustworthy. When it comes to your business, do the proper due diligence on everyone, okay? Even if it's to Google. Google is a surprising source of information on some people. And again, particularly if they've done the scam before, I'm going to tease you a little bit if you call me and tell me you Googled somebody and then you saw I prosecuted them like 10 years ago, because you could have Googled them before you hired them. So do your due diligence on the front end, stay up on your credit checks and your credit reports, keep up on your professional licenses. Sometimes it can be a crime for you to do certain things without the proper licensing. I don't think we have any businesses like that here, but let's say X-ray technician is a common one. You have an MRI imaging, you have to be licensed with the state. We don't want just people off the street doing X-rays or injecting people with dyes. If it were that easy, there would be self-serve kiosks. I'm telling you that you're like, who would do that? These are true stories. This is why I'm telling you this. Make sure your licenses are in order to do whatever business it is that you are doing in the city and the state. And regularly check your devices for skimmers. Sometimes it's very easy to add a small USB device to your point of sale kiosk or your register, and it collects all the data on the computer. That's another way that cybersecurity can fail you. So you just want to always be looking at your machines and making sure there are no new attachments or additional apparatus on there that you have not approved. Any questions? And we can go to the next slide. Businesses, gift cards. Some of you that do gift cards, make sure you have a proper way to track your gift cards. I've got a number of embezzlement cases or employee theft, and the gift cards are a soft target, right? If you don't have a way to track all of those gift cards, somebody may just be giving themselves a bunch of gift cards and reselling them on the black market, or or converting them to cash some other kind of way, or selling them for pennies on the dollar. So just know that if you have gift cards, that may be an easy way for money to leave your business if you don't have a proper tracking system in place for those cards. Make sure your personal information and devices are secure at your business. Individual logins. Don't let other people use your login, because it will be very hard to tell who has done what. Meaningful surveillance and security. Actually have the cameras working. Don't just have, I know that these costs get up, you know, and maybe through the business association or working collaboratively, you guys can negotiate for better rates collectively on some of this stuff, but there's really no substitute for it. Don't assume, unless you have a police security camera right outside your business, that you can afford to go without it. And you should certainly have a camera on your register and one on your door to track who's coming and going. And stay up to date on trends in crime like this, and just stay knowledgeable on the recent scams and how they're changing. We're getting a lot more on the computer, so it's going to be really important in order to track who's doing what, that logins and security is proper. Otherwise, it's going to be very hard to determine which of your employees or who at what point in the chain stole something. We can go to the next slide. These are all of the websites that could help you. I'm trying to see, I don't see the Cook County Clerk's one. I will forward that to Carletta after the meeting. That's the one where you can register your PIN on your property for PIN alerts. But most of these websites offer very useful information that can help you. If you are the victim of a theft, you do want to file a police report. If you are the victim of a large scale theft, you probably want to seek out the financial crimes unit at the police department and not just your line police officer. If you have anything that's involving your mail, you probably want to, that's going to be more of a federal offense, so check with the FBI or the postal inspector. And I hope this information has been useful to you guys. I think as this pandemic ends, there's a lot of business opportunity and opportunity for growth for all of you. And I want you to be able to thrive in a safe way and be successful without any of these hiccups. And I hope I never see any of you as victims of crime on these cases. And I hope some of this information has been useful to you. That's my information. It's all still current. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And I've really enjoyed talking with you guys this morning.
That was great. Thank you. Everybody should, in the reaction, give her a clap. That was really awesome. You know, I just saw on the news today that there is fraud with the QR codes. And I know we use them a lot in terms of people are creating them. Maybe they might even, since we use them so much, put them on a CBA flyer, but end up directing that information to someone else.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when I saw that today, I'm like, we're really going to have to really be on top of everything. And as employers and employees, our customers, if a customer feels compromised by you, the perception, be it true or false, they won't trust us. And if they don't trust us, believe me, they're not going to be quiet about it. So we have to make sure we work together to do what we can to keep our employees' information safe. And, you know, as we mentioned, not put the employees in a position where they're tempted beyond what they can bear to commit crime or to take information, or specifically when normally they're just looking for quick money. And then we also have to make sure we do that same care with our customers. I know one of our biggest offenses as an organization is those checks, because we pay so many vendors. So we really have to,
And I have to say, it's not necessarily how much an employee is paid, although that's a big part of it, but the culture that you have in your work office and the environment you have in your office is very important, right? People are less likely to steal from a place they enjoy working at, that they feel some sort of family responsibility to you. If you're like the jerk boss who's mean to everyone and demeaning everyone and belittling everyone, somebody's not going to tolerate that for $8 an hour when somebody's offering them $1,000 to steal from you, right? Because you haven't shown them any respect, so they're probably not going to return the respect. So you want to make sure that you really are working to create a congenial environment for people to work in, so that they feel like they're invested in the success of your business as much as you, and they're less likely to make those silly stances. Almost everybody that ends up being prosecuted for this has a lot of bad blood with their employer and didn't feel like they deserved, like they deserved it. So just be mindful of that.
I've seen be careful of people who gamble a lot. Ask them how their weekend was. They tell you that at the boat every weekend, and they're managing your payables and your receivables. Eventually they're gonna run out of money personally, and then say they need to advance themselves some money to take care of whatever they gotta take care of. I've seen employees open up, you say your company's name ABC Holdings, they open up ABC Holding.
Yep.
They open up their little, their little bank account, and they go ahead and deposit your checks into their account. I've seen people pay ComEd twice. One time for ComEd, the other time for themselves. So then they'll do that with the People's Gas and all that stuff. They just pay utilities double. So if your utility bills, if you're not getting CPA audited or prepared financial statements on a quarterly basis where you can actually look at year over year and see how your expenses are going, you're not going to be able to catch that your utility expenses doubled. All right. And so by looking at your numbers, you can say, oh, yeah, my utilities doubled. Why did that happen? And then you can go and see, oh, we've been paying the electric bill twice. Well, wait, we only paid it once, and then this other check is coming out of it. Now you can catch the person who's doing what they're doing, We've got so many fraud solutions. Got positive pay, got ACH, reverse positive pay. If you don't know what that is and you want to have a conversation about it, it's basically something that verifies the check that you're coming into your account is you click off on it in the morning. I love paying for things with credit cards, because then you can just say that's not legit and you can hold it. Every banker's got these solutions, not just one bank, but I think the biggest thing is you guys are working so hard to build businesses. She gave you so much information about how to protect yourself from risk. So please, this was actually one of the best ones, and I appreciate you so much for saying some of the things you said. So.
Oh, thank you, Carl. If you guys do share your bank card with an employee, let's say you have a secretary or a manager, I would say share a credit card, not a debit card, and never share your debit card PIN number. Once you share that PIN number with somebody, any fraudulent withdrawals, they're not going to cover them because you've shared the PIN. And so they say whatever you get, you get. So if you have to have an employee that has some access to funds, I would recommend it be an employee credit card that is in their name, so you can track what they're doing versus your credit card and you just giving them your PIN number. Does that make sense? Just a matter of convenience. So
Kim, do you have your hand up again? I think.
No, I just wanted to compliment what Deidre and Carl are both saying. There are agencies that will not hire you based on your financial background. As we know, as Black and brown people, obviously we need to pay our debts and get out of debt, so we need to work. But I think Carl is on to a good point by saying, getting to know your employee and understanding the kind of debts that they are carrying. The Illinois State Police will not hire you with bankruptcies pending, with large amounts of debts out there, because they don't want you shaking down motorists when you pull them over to write tickets, right? And so we also know that that may not work necessarily for our community, but there is some truth to that. So getting to know your employee and understanding the kind of debts that they're trying to get out of will help you, I think, make a smarter solution. I don't think that we should discriminate because of debt, but I do think we need to understand if it's a gambling debt, those type of debts that are very, that are related to more addictions than someone who's working really hard to clear up some financial mistakes that they've made.
Right.
So I just
all
wanted
for second chances, but everybody doesn't need to work at the register on a second chance. That's just something that's still out there, right? I mean, you just don't want to you don't ask the fox to guard the hen house. It's like you want to give the fox a second chance. Maybe he's hostessing, you know, maybe he's on cleanup, maybe he's somewhere else, but he's not watching the hen house, right? So people have to build up to that level of trust. I would say you definitely don't want somebody you've never met before, that you don't know, that you haven't bothered to do background check on, handling your register. That's you just asking for it.
Yeah, we do a workforce program where we did it last year, we did it this year with ComEd, but we do it as a part of our mode of operations, where we run background checks and we share it with the employees. And it is not to prevent them from doing. Fortunately, we have the ability to create programs to bring them back into, showing them how to get back on work, showing them how to, team, work on a team. But at the same time, we share that information because they need to know when they leave us what the employer is going to see, so that they can either make sure they start working to make sure they need to be more careful that they don't repeat, or let the history show that maybe something was wrong, or if there's a financial matter, school debt, something that they didn't know was out there, judgment, that they are working to clean that up, because employers do look at that, and we wouldn't want you to miss a great chance for something you didn't even know was out there because they stopped calling you in the past 3 months, but it's still there.
Yeah.
Any other, as Carletta put in the chat, that if you register, she's going to send you all the information as well as the link, which was really important about the deed. I didn't think about that, putting information on who checks their deeds and pins. I don't, that's sometimes you don't do it. A lot of the business owners own the property and you're there for years. And if you don't look that up, it may not come up to you refinance it, but you need to stop it or act on it sooner than later. So that's very helpful too. And thank you for sharing that with us. And for just giving us your contact information and being a resource for our business members. You add so much value to our organization. So we appreciate that.
No problem. And I just, I think I just, hold on, let me put the clerk's office website in the chat for you guys. And that should take you to the link where you can set up your PIN alert.
Okay. Okay.
That Googling people thing is good. You should Google yourself and Google yourself in all variations of your name. With the
I regularly Google myself to see what comes up, because especially for businesses, you may have somebody out there with a vendetta against you that's like, you'd be surprised. Somebody can make a website with your name, and if you go to that website, it's all negative information about you. I've seen that game.
Yeah, protect yourself. Protect yourself.
That's how I found out there's a famous magazine editor named Deidre Dyer in New York. I was like, she's taking up all my Google space. Like, what's going on with that?
And that's why Deidre, you would add like your Deidre M. Dyer now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That way people, hey, or even LinkedIn, you create your own, so it's Carl F.D. Riley, like whatever it's gonna be, that you are that. There's a guy named Michael B. Jordan, right? There's also a guy named Michael Jordan. So you got to make sure you control how you are branded, so that way you can not have problems. Because I as underwriters, they look at the deal, they Google you, they Google your address, and then they tell me about how you
and banking, they do that as part of their due diligence. Yeah.
Yeah, they tell me about the person that has all these problems. I go, that's not the same person. And now I got to go prove to them it's not the same person. So just check your background. I have a deal right now where the business is closed on Google. It's not closed. They're literally making money. But on Google, when you Google search, it says permanently closed. So the underwriter is saying, hey, this business is not operational. I'm like, you see the financials, you see tax returns, it's operational. So just Google yourself.
I just want to remind everybody while we're talking about this online fraud, when COVID hit, a lot of the resources. As now we're doing the Back to Business, the state of Illinois, that Back to Business grant. A lot of information to upload. So one of the reasons we try and make ourselves a trusted source, we try and streamline. We have one person, Sandra Bivens, who, if you reach out to Beverly, we can get that information. As it's asking for your tax returns. And the thing is this: if you don't give it to us, we can't help you apply. But at the same time, we want to make sure that the state of Illinois offered the grant. It offered that it had a lot of spokes and hubs. So be careful with who you give your information to. Make sure, Gwen mentioned it earlier, it's part of a chamber, because we're here, we're there, we can make sure that your information is going to the right person. We don't want to scare you or discourage you from applying for these resources, because the money is for us. As Senator Sims talked last month at our membership meeting, they work diligently, especially for some of the businesses in Chatham who were hardest hit. And we know that sensitive information. So don't hesitate to call and double check. You reach out again. Beverly's going to streamline how it's uploaded. We don't want, emails just going out with your information on there. We need to exercise care with your information, but at the same time, we need to make sure you successfully apply. That is why, as an organization, we're so grateful to our board of directors, because if it's an insurance issue, we know we have a trusted source in Country Financial. We have Fifth Third, we have PNC, we have Provident Bank. We have these relationships, and they respond to us, and we ask them always to help us work with you, because again, it's showing care for your information, but at the same time, we got to make sure you have access and you apply successfully. So these government products, the city, the certification, it's very sensitive information, but please let us work with you, and don't feel, ask us questions or how we're safeguarding. We're more than welcome to share that information about your information. The Back to Business grant is still open. On the 79th Street corridor, the SPIF, the city has opened up the SPIF tip applications. So again, if you need information about that and you've called our office and you've talked to Beverly, she shares that information. The NOF round is closed, but we encourage you to start getting ready for the next. Start putting the information in so that when it opens up, you're first in line and you have a good application and ready to submit. We find that for most businesses, it's about layering. It's not we don't have a one solution for anything. So if you meet with us, do the membership, have the consultation, we're more than happy to work with you. We consider it an honor and a privilege. Is there anyone else that has some other comments that I'm missing? Or information to share? Gwen, are you still there? If not, please again, join me for thanking Attorney Dyer for joining us and taking the time and getting on our schedule to share this information, share her contact and be a resource. We so appreciate you. It helps us to retune and re-snap. Sometimes you get a little in your process of doing work, right? It's easy to just try to keep our head down in the business, but it's important to make sure we do what we can to protect ourselves and the reputation of our businesses.
Thank you for inviting me. And I'm always happy to talk to you now, because you all are flustered when you're victims of crime and then we have to talk. So let's talk now so we don't have to have that conversation.
Deidre, thank you so much. I mean, that was extremely helpful. While you were talking, I was trying to arrange not writing any more checks to my landlord for my office space. I'm like, is there a way? So thank you so much.
Yes, you all be safe. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Good day, everybody.
Bye-bye.
You too.
Thank you, Tatiana.
Thanks for everything.
Bye, Beverly.
Thank you. Bye.